Super Mario 64 didn't just invent the 3D platformer, it basically invented how we move in 3D video games. Analog control, Mario did it first. Camera movement, Mario did it first. Sort of. Falling off a cliff and yelling, "Wah!" Definitely Mario. But how did this game happen? How did Nintendo go from Super Mario World to a full 3D world where you can jump around into paintings and punch a penguin? Let's talk about how Mario 64 was made. The brilliant ideas, the technical nightmares, and whatever is going on in those evil hitboxes. 'Cause trust me, I'm replaying Mario 64 DS. Those things are messed up. But first, Nintendo didn't design Mario 64 to fit in the N64. They designed the N64 to fit in Mario 64. What do I mean by that? You see, Shigeru Miyamoto literally built the analog stick just so Mario can move naturally in 3D. It's really good for speedrunning too. The only thing is, that's essentially the start of Drift. We don't like Drift, do we? But it was new hardware, so it was really big. It was a big, important launch. And it performed very well, the game and the console. And it helped a new type of game form. Like all the 3D games, like a lot of modern games, they took from Mario 64. Because before this, Mario had two speeds, standing still and committing to a full leap of faith like he's been paid for like a somersault. But before there was paintings or Peach's Castle or a bomb battlefield, there was a single empty room. Early Mario 64 was just running around a checkerboard cube. That was the entire room. You see, while the developers tested movement, so jumps, and how to make players kind of ease into 3D, they were inventing how video games felt at the same time. They didn't want to give a kid motion sickness in like the first 10 seconds. So this room was everything. They didn't even have enemies at first, just platforms. But they also did have a soundtrack there, and that thing was fire. But once movement felt right, they started actually building the levels. So you ever notice how Peach's Castle doesn't actually teach you anything, but it still kind of teaches you everything? You see, there's no cutscenes, no instructions, or just dropped in, but you naturally can just do things on your own. You test how to jump, you climb the stairs, you see the painting, you're like, I wonder what happened if I jumped into that, and boom, you're in the first level. You see, Miyamoto didn't want a tutorial. He wanted players to explore and figure out things on their own, like a playground almost. Because that was so awesome and radical at the time. And it still is kind of cool when you think about it. We all learned from no instructions. If you haven't played it, you should go play it. If you have played it, go back and play it. I mean, I'm playing the DS version right now. Like, not right now, but you know what I mean. But you see, the hardest part of Mario 64 wasn't anything related to Mario. It was Lakitu and his freaking camera. That thing pisses me off, I swear. But you see, no one had ever done full 3D platforming before, and the N64 controller didn't even have a second stick, so instead they kind of just had to like, please Lakitu, please let me do this. You see, you were literally like wrestling him, like, let me do this. Let me move the way I want to move, or let me move the camera. You see, he was always up there filming right behind us. Every move. But he's not even doing that good. And who's seeing this? Who's even seeing this? Why can't I control the camera myself? Why can't I get my own cameraman? Why does Lakitu have to do this? What, is he broadcasting this? Well, I wonder if he was. There's not even TVs, guys. Anyways, it was pretty clunky. But it kind of worked. It was like the N64. It's fine. It worked enough, I mean. But right after that, we got Mario Sunshine. That game definitely fixed a lot of things. Maybe it's just biased because it's my favorite 3D Mario. But I'm going to be honest, Mario Sunshine didn't fix everything with the camera. But instead of single goal levels, like 2D Mario's essentially, where you get the flagpole, boom, next level, each Mario 64 stage was like a little sandbox. It was a teensy tiny sandbox. But there was multiple stars for you to get there. Kind of like how all the other 3D games are, except for 3D Land and 3D World. So, instead of, you see, every world had about 7 stars. and you could choose which ones you wanted to get. But you could get them out of order, though. They didn't intend... I don't know if they intended for that, but you can do that, though. It's because Mario 64 didn't teach you to explore. It taught you that if you ignored the instructions and just didn't care, you could still say, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. You see, the flexibility of the games and all the sequels helped pave all 3D games, like all modern 3D games. Again, like I said earlier, they stem from Mario 64. Mario 64 had a lot of secrets. They're literally called castle secrets, and those are all the stars you could get in the castle. There's like other ways to do things than intended, and it encourages curiosity. And it doesn't need you to do everything perfect. There's no the only precision is performing glitches. That wasn't intended. Plus, early versions of Mario 64 had some pretty cool things that we didn't get. They had a 2-player mode where the second player could be Luigi. They had levels outside of the castle. They had a clock. They had like an actual clock in TikTok clock. And they had some really interesting animations. If you want to go look up OG Mario 64 animations, you can see that at your own risk. It looks pretty scary. But in Mario 64's early development, this is what we could have got, right? We could have got something with Luigi. It would have been split screen. And potentially there was an idea. I don't know how far into development this went. But they were about to make Mr. L before Mr. L was even existed. And you know what? Here's the thing. We don't even know if that's true. Because Miyamoto never confirmed it. But I heard that. But that's like some OG playground stuff. Because Twitter didn't exist back then. Facebook. Nothing. X is Twitter, I guess. Whatever. But it didn't exist back then. So the only way you can know is on the playground. But in the end, a ton of features ended up getting scrapped. But that happens with every game pretty much. But what did make it into the final game is pretty good, let's be honest. Mario 64 wasn't exactly the best game, but it really helped pave the path for everything coming after it. You see, it invented how we move in 3D. It taught developers how to build 3D worlds. And it proved that we can play games in 3D and still Nintendo had what it took to be at the top. Now, it's not exactly at the top anymore. I wish it was because I love Nintendo. I'm like a Nintendo fanboy. I love Nintendo. But PlayStation's kind of ruling this market right now. Like, they've been ruling it. But honestly, if Switch 2 could pass them, I'm going to be so happy. But, let me be honest. Compared to Smash Bros., like, if we're pitting this game up like, to Smash Bros., then that game, Mario 64 is a mid game. Mid compared to Smash Bros. But anyway, that's how Mario 64 was made. All it took was one analog stick, one checkerboard room, and a very determined Italian man with a triple jump.